My name is Marine X, and it's about that time again, man. It really is about that time again. It's just a real smooth, real fun, just like a chill type of day, man. I'm super glad that everybody is kind of out here in the mix and everybody is having a good time. First off, I guess for the smoke and the drink, we're gonna just kind of keep it simple. First off, I got this it's a Don Aguilar. I guess that's how you pronounce the shit. I don't know if that's how you pronounce. If I'm mispronouncing it, okay, guys, just pound sand. This is an exclusive cigar that was put together for Total Wine. So Total Wine and More is nearby me. I walked in. I wanted a stick. The guy suggested it. It was highly rated. So I picked this thing up. It's made by Rocky Patel. So I'm not going to lie to you. It's like the third one that I've had. And I am drinking. I already have 2 ounces poured up, but I'm going to have a little bit of Russell's Reserve 10-year Kentucky straight bourbon, only 90 proof, an easy drinker. I don't have a lot left. So I said, screw it, man. I said, screw it. I might as well just kind of make it happen. I've already got myself down for that type of stuff as well. In the pocket for today, might as well, while we got the camera here, is we are rocking the Hogue Deca with the Warnie. Mine's not the Magna Cut. I kind of almost have a little bit of FOMO because everybody and their mom has the Magna Cut and I don't, but I get it. Okay. I get it. Don't always have to have the newest of everything. This thing works just fantastic. I've had it for a couple years now. The D10 is like finally it's just, now it's awesome. I'm starting to like fall in love with the knife now. Now that it's been about 2 years, it's starting to fall in love with the knife overall. So also in the pocket today is the Leatherman Free P4. Of course, I'm still doing a lot of stuff around the house for springtime duties, springtime tasks. My Leatherman has been modified, so I did add a full-size bit driver in here. Those don't normally come on the Leatherman Free P4. It still locks in place just like it should. So, I like that. I keep mine loaded with a 10 hex, a T10, because my son is always backing out the screws on his bunk bed on purpose. So I just literally can tighten it on the fly. I also added a file from an old Leatherman curl that was laying around. And I had to do a little bit of grinding and I had to put it in upside down on purpose, but I was able to get this lock in place as well. This kind of kept me from having FOMO and fear of missing out. I just did a video recently talking about like not overdoing it, things that can make you spend, just incredibly too much money on EDC because of certain things that you do. One of those being focusing on brand name or not focusing on quality. And I guess you can kind of say FOMO as well, which is something that I think about all of the time. The flashlight normally would be the EDC 33, but I did recently pick up, I talked about this today in the EDC Deals of the Week video. I picked out the Emolant. Is that how they pronounce it? The Emolant BL50. This has an OLED screen. It's locked. 1, 2, 3. Now it's unlocked. I like this thing. Has a low lumen mode of 5 lumens. That's kind of shitty. I wish it went down lower, but 5 lumens does get the job done, but it has a UV light. Now I can do the creeper status checks and make sure that there's nothing crazy going on in a hotel room, stuff like that. This is a really slick flashlight. It's on sale, normally $89. They just dropped the price on this. Go check out the video I dropped today if you guys are curious about that. Finally, we are rocking the VAR C5 Solar. This is the C5 Tactical Solar by VAR. This is a field watch with a quartz movement, and I like it a lot. And full disclosure, VAR is a channel sponsor. They're not sponsoring this live stream, but they still have some fantastic watches which are assembled in the USA. So, they gather parts from overseas, not fully assembled here or fully everything here. But hey, I'm just saying, I like the fact that it's a smooth loadout for me, especially like kind of like a work from home around the house type of stuff. I'm still able to just get tasks done with no issues whatsoever. This hoarder house has been a pain in the neck for a little bit. So today in history, man, March 18th, 1943. So first off, the third military draft begins in the United States. You know that we haven't had a draft since the Vietnam War. It's crazy because I was an active duty Marine, and to think that I volunteered, all volunteer service, anybody else in the chat that was a part of the, part of the military, let me know what branch you were in, what years that you served. But in today, imagine being a part of the draft. All of us, if you're over the age of 26, are a part of the selective service, right? But imagine they taking the selective service and actually turning that. The real term for the draft is called, I think it's conscription. I can't remember the name of it, but let's just call it the draft. The third draft ever, and there's been 6 drafts in the United States, started March 18th, 1943. And that, that was obviously, if you got drafted for that, you were going to World War II. Today, also in history, March 18th, 1939, the state of Georgia finally ratified the Bill of Rights. It's crazy because the country had been in existence for 150 years. There had been a federal government for 150 years. And then here comes Georgia. Ian, you're in Georgia, right? Here comes Georgia finally ratifying the Bill of Rights. Right to a free press, right to free speech, right to bear arms. Those first 10 rights in the Bill of Rights, they finally did it after 150 years. And then there was a couple states that still didn't do it up until this point, Connecticut and Massachusetts. So history lessons, a lot of other stuff today, people's birthdays. I thought those were some interesting facts for today overall, mainly because, I just did not know that some states were dragging their feet like that, especially states that were northern states like Connecticut and Massachusetts. They weren't a part, prior Civil War. They were part of the Union, I would assume. It's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. The first one is going to be Grail EDC, not for me. Have you guys heard that Benchmade is still trying to milk us for all that it's worth? Benchmade announced earlier this week that they're going to be dropping a Benchmade Gold class for the full immunity. Now, I don't know if they're going to do the partial immunity, which is a whole nother knife, but the full immunity they're dropping for all of 2024. It's still going to have the CPM M4, but it's going to have the damaged steel pattern. It's going to have sapphire hardware. It's going to come with the bead. Congratulations. Yay, a bead. So Benchmade, normally when they do gold class drops, they do a certain number of drops. I used to own the gold class Tengu tool, which was like a non-locking blade / pry bar. I bought it for like $400, but they are not playing around because the gold class the full immunity is $600, man. $600. So I'm thinking to myself, like, who is this for? Because it's definitely not for me. When I bought the Tengu tool flipper, or it wasn't the flipper, the Tengu tool gold class, I spent $300 on it, and I thought that was an insane amount. This is a nice looking knife, but for me, $600, I don't even know how much it is on their website. The thing that they're doing different for 2024 versus how they normally do this is instead of only releasing like 400 or 600, kind of like they did with previous gold class, they're going to be producing this knife all of 2024. So if you're interested in it, go for it. But guess what? Because it is goddamn price, this is Grail EDC, not for me. I'm going to ask you, where'd you find that, though? Trust me, it's going to be a question that I ask. If I see that you tell me, I have a live stream soon, and you come up and you tell me, oh, X, I just picked up the Benchmade Field Immunity Gold class. I'm just so great. And wipe your nose and spit snot. I'm like, oh, man, that's so freaking awesome. I'm so proud of you, okay? Hopefully you grabbed your ankles when freaking Benchmade made that shit happen, because it is no joke. They are not playing around. $600. I'm sure that Benchmade knows that their gold class items are super collectibles. I think that when they purposely produce scarcity, the pricing goes up even more. I don't think I've seen them do a gold class where they do something the entire calendar year. I can't remember that. Let me guys know if you've seen them do something similar to that, because me personally, normally they do a gold class, they do a set number. It produces scarcity. They do them in batches. It makes you feel like, oh my God, I got to hurry up. But this is different. If you're going to be picking this up, let me know, man. If this is for you, let me know. People are like more and more, they don't know stuff. There's an article on kitcarry.com. The title of the article is No One Knows How to Do Anything Anymore. And the article overall, what he's talking about in the article is that Gen Z, some folks that are part of the millennials as well, and even some older folks, Gen X, people don't have the ability to do certain tasks anymore. Certain things that are just like very mundane, very like something that you should just know how to do. They organically don't know how to do it. Certain things like starting fires or properly storing your gear, even just storing your gear every day. Like, how are you supposed to do that specifically? People are having issues with that. How to put on warming layers. I went hunting with a buddy last season, and I said, hey, make sure you put on some warming layers. It's going to be pretty cold out there when we climb into the deer stands. He came out, he was just wearing 2 t-shirts and a bubble jacket. I was like, sir, what are you wearing? I said warming layers. You need to layer up. It's 16 degrees out here with a dew, so stuff like that. Also, I've noticed that a lot of folks in Gen Z don't have a grasp on how to use hand tools or even power tools for that matter. If I ask someone to go get me a tongue and groove pliers, or to go get me the actual brand name Crescent, or to go get me, an adjustable wrench or whatever, and then I need you to lock onto that boat, there's a lot of things that are being lost for this generation. And I don't know exactly how do we grasp that, but we're spiraling quickly towards the folks that we might start becoming. Those folks might start becoming the Wall-E generation. You guys ever seen Wall-E before? You seen the movie Wall-E? I mean, Wall-E was an autonomous robot whose job it was to gather trash that was on Earth, because basically everyone on Earth had turned themselves into fat pigs. And we were so reliant on AI and robots. I think we're going the way towards the Wall-Es of the world. I particularly am not interested in turning into one of these fat freaking dweebs. That's just not an interest of mine. So all I can do is the people that I touch, not literally touch. Okay. I mean, my sons, my family, my friends, just whatever skills and I can pass on to them, then I'm going to try to do that. My grandfather did the same thing for me. My dad died when I was super young, but my grandfather instilled a lot of that in me. My stepfather instilled a lot of that in me. But women can do the same thing as well. Just being able to give those skills. I am very nervous that we're starting to lose those organic skills. So I had a buddy, right? We won't say his name. We'll say name not be said. He bought a house. About 30 miles away from me. And he bought the house and he said, X, the house is a little bit of a fixer-upper. What tool should I buy? And I said, well, listen, okay, you can just get a Ryobi, whatever you want to call it. Get a basic tool set. Get yourself if you can swing it, get a hammer drill, an impact driver, maybe an oscillating tool and a light. You should be good to go. Man, he went to Walmart and got some shit from goddamn, what's the cheapest brand at Walmart? It's not Hart, but it's a couple steps below Hart. I was like, sir, what are you doing? This makes no sense. Your house is going to fall apart. Suffice it to say, a lot of times my wife and I may visit with them and his wife will just dog him in front of us. She'll be like, don't ask him to do shit. He don't know how to do a motherfucking thing. I'll be like, hold on, chill out. Hold on. Goddamn. He's in the room, right? She's like, I'm just saying, he fucked the pool up. He fucked the lawn up. He doesn't know how to weed whack. He tore down half the fence. He flooded the bathroom. I was like, hold on, take a goddamn breath, ma'am. So I'm a little nervous because he's about 8 years younger than I am. So at the time he was probably going on 30. He's probably in his 30s now. It makes me a little nervous knowing that we got folks out here who are going to be buying houses from older folks. My neighbors that live right next to me, they're in the last stages of their health. In theory, if they don't give that house to a family member, some punk, I say punk, it might be a very noble person, but some knucklehead's going to buy that house that they took good care of, and the shit might just fall apart. And I think about that stuff all the time, or how shit hits the fan and people don't know how to do shit as well. And I don't want to be that guy that's standing out front saying, get off my yard, right? This is not Dennis the Menace. I'm not Mr. Wilson, but I do hope that folks are able to grasp some of these skills, because even if shit doesn't hit the fan, even if the other day, I had the coolant temperature sensor go out in my truck, pretty easy fix. I drive a 2015 GMC Sierra. It's an American-made vehicle. I could basically climb in the fucking engine to work on it. It's an easy thing to do. But one of my buddies was like, how are you going to do that? I would just pay somebody. I was like, dude, it's literally one screw, a pair of gloves, a light. You're done in 10, 15 minutes. Maybe you have to put a little bit more Freon in there. That's it. You're good. Or antifreeze in there. And so those are the type of things that make me nervous, the folks that are coming up as well. How many youngsters today know where to check the oil and the air pressure on their tires? Their prevailing mentality is to throw it away and buy a brand new one. You got a good head on your shoulders. What's so crazy, Dean, is because I drive a lifted truck, and because my truck is lifted, sometimes my TPMS sensors just don't quite work as good as they should. So my TPMS sensors might say that I'm running 40 PSI, but I know to physically get my ass out and to check my tires because I might actually be running at 32. Right. And I prefer to run it like 45. But these are like foreign terms to some people. If I were to mention some of this stuff to some people, they're like, what? He's running who? Yeah. So that type of stuff is the type of stuff that we think about as well. And for me personally, I intend to teach the sons, the kiddos, how to make sure that they can do those basic type of things as well. But I saw these young men on the side of the road, literally trying to change the tire on a Honda Civic. There was two of them. They were with three broads, and the females were telling them what to do. And I was just like, what is going on here? I stopped. I said, do y'all need some help? Pulled out my bottle jack. And here's the thing that I think is like the most knucklehead thing about these young men nowadays is, as I began to help them, he opened the door and all I smell is weed just come pouring out of the car. And I'm like, dude, you're stuck on the side of the road. You're in my neighborhood, which my neighborhood, the police are always, because I live in a nice neighborhood, the police, you look out of place. What if the police stop to help you? You're 100% asking to get fucked with. I literally keep an impact wrench. I keep some impact sockets, a bottle jack, which is really made for my truck. And because they were in a Civic, it was hard to get it under there, but we made it happen. And, you know, everything that we need to make the change. He didn't know where he had a locking lug nut on his car. He didn't know where that was. So I just drilled it off. But the point being is, like, I am not going to have my son's ass out there like that. That shit is absolutely not going to happen. Man, I almost kind of felt bad for him. Like, that shit was rough. There's a new collaboration that just dropped that has Grandpa thoroughly excited. Have you guys heard of Neve's Knives? Jared over there at Neve's Knives, he just dropped a collaboration with TKL Knives, and this knife looks so effing interesting. I normally don't do reviews of other YouTubers' products. Not too often. I did review Best Damn EDC's bum bag, and I reviewed a couple of other items from some other YouTubers. But when I saw him drop this the other day, it came up on his channel. I thought this looked incredibly interesting for self-defense. And you can get it in two different options. This is not a commercial. This is just me watching the video and taking a lot of interest in it. I don't have any stake in it. The reason that this drew my attention was a couple of things. The aggressive nature of the blade, but also the fact that the knife maker in this instant is a prior Marine. He's a prior active duty Marine. So, you know, you gained my attention. Plus, I like Neve's Knives. So we got this like happy collection of just everything that was able to gain my attention. These are the type of collaborations I like seeing out of YouTubers. Okay. I'm okay with YouTubers slapping their name on some cookies and selling it as their own, slapping their name on a bag or utility knife or whatever. But I really like the way that this is for some self-defense, especially if you're going to have this in something like a bug out bag or a get home bag. I don't know if you need to carry this on your human being every single day. I mean, unless you're just always ready to rock and roll. But I mean, he has a plate carrier in the background. Like it leads me to believe that this guy definitely is a primary, even though we're not the only ones that wear plate carriers. But I thought it looked very interesting. I thought it looked super interesting, especially for self-defense. Right now, for my self-defense knife, I'm using a Benchmade Sock P, which I don't think it's aggressive enough for me personally. I would prefer to have something that has like this kind of hook in it. So overall, though, I thought that this is the type of collaboration I like to see. And if I were ever myself to do a collaboration, it would be with something like this. I've seen other folks that do collaborations, and sometimes it's kind of like it is a collaboration, but it's kind of just like they're putting their name on some products. So there's a company called Exclusive, and they work with different creators, right? So they work with Jeremy Sires, the Best Damn EDC, Becky and Chris, Bourbon Junkies, and they do collaborations. And for some of the items that they're actually pumping out, it's more just like, I don't know, like let's just take a look at Jeremy Sires' collection. So I bought his man card. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a unique idea. That was a great collaboration. His whiskey Bible is super unique. It was very unique. But his cigar scissors is OEM from a company. So I was like, it's $190. I know the company that makes this. I don't know if I feel comfortable spending that type of money. I've been trying to really constrain myself from making too many purchases. I did have a knife that was sent to me recently. I have so there's a vet. He's in Waxahachie, Texas. I think he's about 30 minutes away from me or something like that. And he asked, hey, can I send out a knife for you to check out? So this is from a company called the Templar Knife Family, and he has a pretty good warranty according to his box. Warranties depending, but he just wanted to send out something for me to check out. I thought it was an interesting, so I got a nice little sticker. I actually had no clue how to open this thing when I first got it. So it came in and I was like, okay, interesting, right? I come in, I'm looking for a flipper. I'm looking for I don't see a flipper. I don't see a thumb stud. I don't see a thumb relief, a hold. I don't see a button. I'm like, how the hell do you open this thing? Well, apparently there's just like a little slide right here. You just slide that and it opens the knife and it also locks it in. That's a pretty interesting design. I'm pretty sure you guys have, so what is a switchblade type design? Is that what you would call this technically? I like the fact that it's a unique deploying knife. It's the same way to let it back in. It's locked in this place. So in this position, it's fully locked. My kids are not opening this by accident. I like that. Okay. I like that. So that's something that's unique and different. And taking a look at his site, it looks like this is made of D2. I think most of his knives are made of D2. Now that doesn't mean it's bad. I think it's this one here, the auto assist. Yep. This looks like it right here. So it's a Tanto style auto assist. It's a black oxide stone wash D2 blade, aged aluminum scales. There's a little video of him opening it up. I should have watched the video. I probably would have been able to figure it out. It looks like you can get different blades. I think I would have liked to see the drop point, but 3.75 ounces. Listen, I like the deployment of this. I am interested to see where they go over the years with the blade steel. I'm not a blade snob, but I wouldn't feel comfortable taking this out and accidentally leaving it out at a campsite for like a couple of, sometimes when I'm processing a deer or a hog or something like that, a knife gets left out in the dew overnight. I don't discover it till the next day in the afternoon. So I don't know how I would feel about that, but I don't know. I think it is interesting. $135 for the price point. So he's in Waxahachie. I could drive to wherever the hell they're making this, but I don't know if this is made in America. I don't know if he's OEMing this from somebody or if he's making it down there in Waxahachie. So here's the last thing, man, I want to talk about is your must-do maintenance of the week. You might live in an apartment. This may not pertain to you, but maybe I can figure out a way for this to pertain to you as well. Today's March 18, 2024. Your must-do maintenance of the week. I've already started it, and I'm just going to try to keep you accountable. It is time to start on your outdoor maintenance, whatever that means to you. You need to do some pressure washing. Some people like to pressure wash their houses twice a year or once a year, especially as all the, pollen and shit lands on their vinyl siding. You might want to spray that shit off your house and not look like the fucking bum of the neighborhood. Maybe it's time for you to make sure that your lawn equipment is working. If it's gas, maybe go check the carburetor, go check the spark plugs. Maybe if you left old fuel in there, dump that shit out. Maybe change the oil. Maybe you need a new air filter. I don't fuck with gas anymore because everything I just listed is a whole goddamn headache, okay? But even if you're doing electric, I use the work system for electric. I need to make sure my batteries are still good to go. Lithium ion batteries have a recharge cycle. Maybe my batteries aren't good anymore. Make sure the wiring wasn't chewed up by squirrels or rats or whatever, because I leave my lawnmower outside covered, but they can still get up underneath the deck and get into the wiring and fuck up shit like that. Maybe it's time for you to weed and feed your lawn. Maybe put some insecticide down. Here in Texas, we got mosquito hawks. Do you know what mosquito hawks are? I fucking hate mosquito hawks. They get into your house. They're super annoying. Like mosquito hawks and June bugs are the bane of my existence. If it's time, you can do that type of stuff. When I lived in an apartment, I still had to do maintenance. I had stuff out on my patio. I had to make sure that there wasn't birds building. Listen, when I lived in an apartment, this was in 2017, so it wasn't that long ago. I would have to go out there to make sure that birds, especially doves like to build nests in weird places. You need to go out there and make sure doves aren't nesting in different parts of your patio shit. Maybe go fluff up your pillows. Maybe you get a new rug or something out there. Whatever. But your must-do maintenance of the week is to go out there, crack your toes, whatever you got to do. Go out there and do some outdoor maintenance. Thank me later. But hey, guys, I appreciate y'all once again for stopping by for another Man Cave Mondays. Hopefully you learned a lot of information today and we were just able to shoot the shit and all that type of stuff. We will speak soon.